Welcome back, people, and if this is your first time watching this channel, welcome to Carp Gurus. So what are we doing today? Today we are literally about to set off for a day session at Bradshaw Hall Fisheries.
I just wanna get you on my grid sometimes, on my grid sometimes. All my friends are saying that I waste my time, that I waste my time. I don't wanna tell you, I know if you care. Repeating my mind, rolling around, stuck in your bed, burning temptation, I just cannot hide it.
We are now set up at Bradshaw Hall Fisheries. So what I'll do, before I run through my tactics and strategy for the day, I'll give you some more information on the fishery. So it's Bradshaw Hall Fisheries, based in Bolton in the northwest. There's around 9 lakes. Most of the lakes are for pleasure fishing / match fishing, but there is one lake which is classed as the specimen lake, which is Lake 2, which is obviously where we are fishing today. So Lake 2, it does have a large stock of carp. It's only a small lake, but yeah, there is some good fish in here. I've personally had fish up to just under 23 pounds, and yeah, there is a decent head of 20s in here, loads and loads of mid to upper doubles. So yeah, it's a great place to come for a quick day session to get a bend in the rod and then go home. So yeah, it is one of my favourites, and believe it or not, this is the place where I actually caught my very first ever carp around 20 years ago. It was a ghost carp, and yeah, it was caught from this lake on luncheon meat. So yeah, it is somewhere that I always visit off and on, and it is somewhere that's always in my heart, really. So yeah, set up fishing, and we'll now run through the tactics and strategy for the day. There's definitely a few things I always think about before I arrive at my chosen venue. The first one is, how long am I going to be at the venue for? And the second one is, what does the peg offer me in terms of options? So straight away, I'm on a day session, so I'm not feeling like it's going to be effective heavily baiting, piling in kilos of boilies when I'm literally here for a few hours. The fish will probably move in when I'm at home, so I've not gone for that approach. So already we know day session, we're going for light baiting. Secondly, what options does the peg offer me? Well, this peg which I'm in now, I chose because I saw carp in the area, so obviously it was a no-brainer. We all know location is king. So the carp I saw were very close in, and this is a notorious margin water. So straight away we've worked out we're going to go for light baiting, and we've worked out that the fish are cruising up and down the margins. Now we're in the warmer months, so it's margin fishing with light baiting. That's the approach sorted, and it makes complete logical sense. To be honest, I've lost count of the amount of carp I've caught from this lake under the rod tip. It's a really good margin water. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Light baiting, fishing in the margins. We are fishing slack lines. Okay, there's no point in having a bowstring tight line when you're fishing under your feet. You're not going to get a drop back. The fish is going to absolutely bolt like hell, and your reel's going to melt. You're going to get a screaming run, which is what we all love and enjoy. So yeah, slack lines, no point in fishing bowstring tight lines under the rod tip. So that's the approach sorted. 2 rods, it's a 2 rod limit, both fishing in the margins. And yeah, in regard to the actual setup, we're using my trusty, simple, effective, strong, basic lead clip system, which is just a timeless classic. It works everywhere I go, and unless you're fishing in really heavy weed, I see no reason to change that. So I'm fishing a basic lead clip setup, and then in regards to the actual rig or hook length, I'm using a basic hair rig made out of a supple braid, and attached to that is an 18mm boilie, one that I've got a lot of confidence in. I'm not going to start saying the names because I'm not promoting baits, I'm not promoted by anyone, I'm not sponsored by anyone, but yeah, I'm using an 18mm boilie. and I'm hooking on a mesh PVA bag to enhance obviously the properties, the anti-tangle properties, and give the fish a really concentrated area to home in on where my hook bait is. So yeah, that's the setup, that's the plan, that's the tactics, that's the strategy. Simple as that. You know what I'm doing, and when there is something to update you with, I will update you. Here we go again, guys. Here's an update for you. So I have had one fish. It was only a small fish. I'd say it was around £7 to be honest, £7-8, which is really small for here. But yeah, it was a belting run, absolute screamer. It was the right hand rod, literally at my feet, using the tactics already outlined. So yeah, first fish, nice start to the day session. The lake is very quiet, so I decided to put out my middle rod. So the middle rod, I've gone for something different. I've gone for a helicopter rig, and I've put on a stiff hinge, and it's been cast to the far bank, about a rod length off the tree opposite, basically that tree there. I know it blurred a bit then, but you get the idea. So it's about a rod length off that tree, helicopter rig with a stiff hinge and a bright white coconut pop-up, which I've caught shitloads of fish on. So yeah, really confident in that. I've left that as a single, just on its own, high attract, to see what's out there. But yeah, really enjoying the session. The weather's fantastic, and it's nice just to kick back and relax. We had that fish basically within 2 hours of setting up, so it was a great start, and I'm expecting much more as we go into the afternoon. Hello people, I'm back again, and rather than an update, I thought I would open up the subject of bait and how I use bait, basically. So yeah, I do use pellets if I'm using mesh PVA bags, which I do use a lot of the time just for that added attraction around the hook bait. But other than that, I am a big lover and user of boilies. So you could say I was a boilie angler. There is a misconception that if you're a boilie angler, you're close-minded. But what people forget is, even if you only use boilies for most of your fishing, there's a lot of different ways you can use boilies. So do you wash them out? Do you heavily glug them? Do you fish over chops? Do you fish over boilie crumb? Do you bait accurately with a catapult? Do you spread boilies with a catapult over a tennis court size? You know, there's a lot of different ways of using boilies. So it's just something to think about, really, and an insight into my thoughts regarding boilies. And yeah, we'll move on to how I use boilies. So I'm not going to start dropping which company's name of boilie I use and flavours and all the rest of it, because I know that any decent quality bait what you have confidence in, if you put it in the right place with good presentation, you'll catch fish. So I'm definitely not going to start plugging you know, bait companies and all the rest of it, especially when I'm not sponsored by anyone. So you're getting a very honest insight here, really. But what I would say with my boilies and what works for me, I've never been a fan of washing out boilies, and I do like my boilies to be high attract. These specific boilies I'm using are sort of a milk protein bird food type bait in a yellow colour, so they are quite high attract. But again, I use a lot of fish meals as we get to the height of summer, and I consider those high attract as well, based on how I glug them and prepare them. Again, people think high attract baits are only baits that are yellow, pink, white, but a brown fish meal that's been glugged in salmon oil, stinking like hell as far as I'm concerned, is still high attract. So yeah, these are my thoughts on boilies. So yeah, like I said, I'm not a fan of washing out baits. I like a lot of flavour, I like a lot of attraction, and that's what I feel confident in. These boilies, I basically bought a 5 kilo bag. They're put in the bucket. I added hemp oil, which I think is great, and I also added a matching glug to the boilies I'm using. Now with the glugs, some companies do provide glugs and they're extremely watery. For me, that's not really going to make much difference to the bait. The glug I'm using is, I'd say it's like syrup, but even thicker. And they're the glugs which I believe are most effective because they cling to the boiler, they hug the boiler, and then while they're on the bottom of the lake bed, they'll steadily release that extra attraction, which as far as I'm concerned is the whole reason why you would glug your boilies. Glugging them in a very watery based cheap dip which isn't thick and won't hug the bait, it might look nice and fancy in the bucket, but it's not going to make much of a difference to your actual hook bait. So yeah, there's some of my thoughts on bait and how I use bait. Like I said, I like high attract baits, heavily glugged with proper bait glug, which is thicker than syrup, that hugs the bait, and that's what I feel gives me the most chance of catching carp. Boom. Here we go again, people. So it's an update from me. We're now getting on for 12 o'clock. The margins and margin area I was fishing went completely dead after I caught that fish. No action, stopped seeing fish. Then carp started to top around 30 to 40 yards out, a couple of pegs further up the bank. So you know what I had to do, and I did it. I made the effort, I moved swim, and I do think catching that carp straight away in the margin, obviously it disturbed the area and I think they've drifted off. So yeah, I'm literally only 2 pegs up from where I was, but I'm in a completely different set of water in regard to where I can fish, and I'm casting where fish have been topping. So just to put things into perspective, where I was fishing and where I caught that fish in the morning, I was around here. I've now moved to here. I've got 2 rods around 30 to 40 yards out where they've been topping, and then with it being so quiet, I've put a right hand rod, or third rod should I say, in the margin. So there is one still in the margin, and that exact spot I've had a 19-pound mirror from there before, so it is a good spot. So I've got 1 rod there and 2 out in the open water where they've been topping. Yeah, still got a fair few hours left. It's definitely not been a blank because we've already caught, so either way I'm happy. This is another update. I have had another fish, high double, I'd say 17, 18, really nice fish. The spot where I mentioned I had a 19-pounder, or had caught a 19-pounder from previously, is where I caught it from, and it's basically this tree that I'm showing you. So there's no secret squirrel with me, I'll just show you where I caught the fish, and if you're new to the lake or you're on the lake and you're struggling, you can obviously take a leaf out of my book. So there's me setup. The right hand rod is the one I just had the fish on, and it's that spot there. What I'm going to do, because all the water's disturbed from the crazy fight I've just had with this fish, I'm going to top up that margin spot, but I'm going to leave my rod out of the water for an hour or so, and then I'll just drop it back in after I rested it. But yeah, it was a nice fish. I'll add the pictures and possibly a short clip to this vlog, depending on how it looks. But yeah, you will see pictures of it anyway, regardless, that's for sure. And yeah, I'll update you as I go on. So we're now on 2 fish, and it's around 12:30, so it's good going. and we're not even at the usual bite time yet, so I'm definitely confident of a few more. Hello there guys, it's me once again, checking in with another update. So we're now around 2 o'clock and we have just had a screaming run on the middle rod, which was basically the stiff hinge rig on the helicopter setup. Sadly I struck into it and struck into nothing, so yeah, we all know how frustrating that is, but these things do happen. So it's 2 fish so far and 1 missed opportunity, let's say. I've moved the right hand rod out of the margin, as there is another gentleman in the next swim. He's fairly close to me. He's also fishing in his margin. I just felt that after that high double fish earlier on, the opportunity had gone and it was a dead area. So I've got 3 rods all in open water around 30 yards now, 2 on the basic hair rigs with the bottom baits, and the lead clip setups that I always use, as I said earlier, and then the middle rod is on the helicopter rig with the stiff hinge, using the bright white in your face pop up. As you know, I am confident in those baits. So yeah, like I said, we've still got plenty of time. It's only around 2, half 2, something like that, and yeah, I'll check in again and I'm sure we'll have much more footage for you and much more carpy action.
Everybody staring for days.
This is a really beautiful mirror carp. The mouth on it is in perfect condition, and it's a lovely combination of like a dark colour and then like an orangey colour. It's really nice. Nice scale pattern near the tail, and yeah, it gave a great fight. Once again caught in the margin. So that's 3 fish, all caught from the margin. This is me signing out, and this will be the last you hear from me on this occasion, unless I get a run literally now or within the next 5 minutes. So as you can see, the pod's packed away, and I'm beginning a slow pat down. So yeah, all in all, or overall should I say, 3 fish and 1 run which we didn't connect with. And yeah, I think it's a good result for a day session. We were fishing from around 8:30 till 4:30, which is the time we're now packing down, and yeah, it was a good result. As predicted, the margins paid off. The 3 fish were all caught from the margins, and I think the edge that I gained today was to rest the margin spot after catching fish, prime it with bait and then drop back on it later on. So that definitely paid off. I did fish in open water after seeing fish topping, but nothing happened. So yeah, all fish caught were from the margins, and the strategy paid off. So yeah, can't complain. It's been a great day. Weather's been great. My dad popped to see me, so we had a bit of a social, bit of a catch up, and yeah, just a pleasant day session. So this is me signing out. Thanks for watching Carp Guru's channel, and be ready because there is a lot more to come in the future.
Carp Guru.